Hey folks, so you know how I said a few weeks back I want to try and minimise the Breath of the Wild 2 videos? Yeah, about that. I had some ideas that came to mind, and normally I would try to dismiss them unless they were truly groundbreaking, internet smashing ideas and or theories. But as the Game of the Year awards are quickly approaching on the 9th of December, hosted by Jeff Keighley, an event in which we may see some new information regarding the highly anticipated sequel to Breath of the Wild, I thought it was appropriate to get a few of these ideas out there leading up to the event. It will look even better when a new trailer drops, right Nintendo? For now, we will have to wait and see, but I am confident personally that we'll get at least a little something from the Zelda team at these awards. But why are we here today? Well, I was thinking about the sequel and how little we know about the actual contents of the game, gameplay and all that sort of stuff. And it had me comparing it to the first game, and considering all the amazing things the first game did oh so well, that the sequel won't necessarily guarantee, which inspired this idea of what Breath of the Wild 2 must include. Now, I'm not talking about things like weapon repair, underwater exploration, and that sort of stuff that I and many others have discussed before. Rather, we'll be looking at aspects of the game that may or may not carry over to the sequel. It will make more sense once we get into it, I promise. So, let's do that. Be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and cinnamon to get featured right here. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps the channel out, and let's get into this one. So something that the first game did extremely well is providing longevity. I don't know one Zelda fan who simply did the main quest and ended things there. Breath of the Wild has so damn much to do beyond the main quest, so much so that you could spend 100 hours playing this game and only 10 would be for the main quest. It has side quests, Sheikah Shrine mini dungeons, Korok seeds to hunt down, 900 of those suckers, hundreds of locations to discover and take in the sights with, and on top of all of that, you can also just mess around and have fun with the mechanics. This is just the main stuff that makes the game so valuable in terms of playability. There are also armor sets to collect and upgrade, and whilst not part of the base game, it also has 2 DLC packs, with the second heavily building on the game. The point is, this game has the longest playability and longevity in the entire series, and is right up there in general in terms of open world video games. But it occurred to me that the sequel may have a hard time to follow this up. I'm not going to say it's impossible, no, not at all, but it definitely won't be easy, especially given that at least some of this game will take place in the already existing world from the first game, with the addition of some new stuff, as seen in the trailers, but still in the same Hyrule to our knowledge. Now, there has been some theories regarding time travel or time frame placement, and I do accept the possibility of this game taking place in a different version of Hyrule. If it was far in the past, with civilization included, just as an example, that would add a decent amount of new playability. But obviously the entire kingdom wouldn't be brand new, but everything would be worth checking out, because there'd be new additions to the kingdom we know. There are lots of possibilities to help improve this, and the addition of an explorable sky area will be huge towards the playability and longevity. But a big question stands there. How open world will this area actually be? Or to expand that question, how open world will the game itself actually be? This will largely contribute towards its longevity and playability. The source reason of why the first game has its near endless playability is due to it being fully open world. Zelda games traditionally aren't very open, rather linear. This sequel may see a return to the more classic Zelda theme. Probably not in full swing, but perhaps a sort of hybrid between open world and linear progression could be there. Maybe the land below and any alterations made to it will remain fully open world, maybe even with expanded areas to explore such as the islands out at sea, further into the desert, and maybe even beyond the cliffs. Then the sky areas are the more linear ones, and a bit of a return to more traditional Zelda styles. With this, for lack of a better term, uncertainty that the game can provide enough new and open space to play through, we aren't 100% sure that the sequel will have the same playability, but in my opinion, it's kind of needed if it's going to hit the same heights. I believe that the game needs to hit somewhere close to the first game's playability if it wants to hit the same heights as the first game did. In terms of success in sales, it is something that is unlikely to happen regardless due to how insanely successful the first game was, but to get close, I feel it has to have similar playability. It simply has to hit this mark if it wants to achieve that. Now, I know I sound like a bit of a bad fan right now, and just to redeem myself, because I do feel kind of bad for saying that, I myself do want to clarify that even if the sequel was fully linear and different from its predecessor, It could still be one of the best Zelda games out there. I'm just comparing it here. The longevity factor that I'm trying to hit home doesn't necessarily need to be done in the same fashion as the first game. I'm just saying it probably has a better chance of going that way. It could be done through linearity for all I know, by simply having a decent amount of content within that linear side of the game, and also putting every ounce of heart and soul into it. Knowing Nintendo and Zelda games, that would be there. The point is, it just has to have similar levels of playability and longevity, however they do it. Past games struggle to reach this, but the sequel has a fantastic opportunity to smash it out of the park. Now, aside from the playability and longevity of the game, there is another factor that I feel the sequel has to include, and that is the character development of Link. Link as a character in the past has been fleshed out in many unique ways. In Ocarina of Time, he travels 7 years ahead in time and becomes an adult. In Majora's Mask, he transforms into different alterations of himself, fused with other races and living beings. In Twilight Princess, he turns into a literal wolf, something that younger me loved. And the list goes on. But Link in Breath of the Wild wasn't really fleshed out much in my opinion. Yes, he did recover his memories and learn about the past, but this doesn't affect him in any real way within the game. It's more of a story point than an actual piece of the character that we are controlling. Those past examples of fleshing him out all gave us something to play with. The sequel really needs to include this, or I fear that Link may become a little stale? But not to worry, as I get the feeling that our helping hand will be the missing link to fill this gap, but only time will tell. Additionally to that, I'd also like to see more optional fleshing out of Link, more customization on top of what the first game gave us with clothing for example. Perhaps a feature to change hairstyles and even add facial hair would be really cool. Make Link more unique to the individual player. Maybe that would take away from the story side of things and traditionalness of Zelda, but I personally think it would be cool if done in moderation. Those are the two big things that after a long evening of thinking about this topic, that I feel the sequel to Breath of the Wild must include to hit the same heights as the first game. I know it's not a theory or groundbreaking piece of content, hence why it's on the shorter side as I don't want to add pointless filler, but it's something I wanted to share with all of you as we approach the event in which we may get some coverage of the game that we're all waiting for. Breath of the Wild 2. The sequel. Thanks a ton for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content. If you didn't already know, I have a Discord server, which you are all welcome to join via the link below. We talk about day-to-day life, and of course, Zelda. You can even chat to me directly in there when I'm online, or submit me questions in my personal Q&A chat. The link can be found below. As always, a huge special thank you goes out to all of my supporters across Patreon and YouTube. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining, and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting. Again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.